much, Steve. Well, it is a major crisis in our country. 91 Americans die every single day from opioid overdoses. Between 2010 and 2015, heroin-related deaths more than tripled. And in 2015, 12.5 million Americans misused prescription opioids. One company is trying to combat this epidemic. They have developed a simple FDA-approved nasal spray that prevents overdose deaths. You can buy this at a drugstore. And they are now working on a vaccine to prevent heroin overdoses. Joining us now is the CEO of Opiant Pharmaceuticals, Dr. Roger Crystal. Dr. Crystal, thanks for being with us.
Good morning.
Good morning. Tell us what your company is doing.
So we're a specialty pharmaceutical company focused on addictions, and the product that we're very proud that we've brought is the Narcan nasal spray. This contains naloxone. It saves patients' lives should they overdose on opioids. When we talk about this is it.
You can buy this at your local drugstore.
So on a country level, it needs a prescription, but now about 40 states here allow you to be able to somehow buy it through the pharmacist. There's different types of laws in each state.
Just a little nasal spray.
It's easy to use.
It
can save someone's life, and it's easy to use because it can just simply, you can take it out of the packet and spray it. And what's really good about this, you don't need to wait for the paramedics or get to the ER before you have the drug on board, and it saves lives that way.
So one of your family members, if they see you and you're out cold because you've overdosed, then they can use this on you. And now you're also working on a vaccine for heroin overdoses?
So the commitment of our company is not just to look at overdose itself, but to look at addiction in the broadest sense. Heroin addiction is a terrible disease, and to have a vaccine to prevent the effects of heroin we think is very attractive. We're working on it. The vaccine is in early stage. What we do have as a company is a whole pipeline of products that includes products to treat alcohol use disorder and, in fact, eating disorders where there's an addictive behavior towards food as well.
What do you do for those diseases?
So we are working on a class of drugs called opioid antagonists, and our focus is how you can deliver these class of drugs through the nose. Why? Because you can get these into the brain very quickly. By getting them into the brain quickly, you can block the reward from whether it's alcohol or food high in sugar, fat, or salt, which releases endorphins. And endorphins is the reward opioid that the brain actually produces itself in response to taking on these compounds.
Dr. Crystal, you were telling me during the break, you're from the UK.
Yes.
Is this a problem all over the world, or is this more of an American problem?
That's a great question. I mean, we do have addiction throughout the world, unfortunately. It is a disease. It doesn't necessarily pick up one country over the other. However, here in the United States, we have a really serious problem with prescription opioid medication. It's for several reasons, and that we can go into if we had more time, but really what we find is that people receive opioid prescriptions, perhaps a 30-day supply of drugs such as Percocet, OxyContin, often for surgical procedures such as a tonsillectomy. When I was a surgeon working in the UK, if I did a tonsillectomy on an adult, we'd probably give something like acetaminophen, some ibuprofen, and perhaps encourage the patient to take ice cream. So here it's quite different.
Thank you so much for just drawing attention to this problem. 91 people will die here in the U.S. today.
Yes. So
thanks for doing something about it and saving lives. I know as a parent, if my daughter were ever faced with something like this, you would be saving her life, and I would be so appreciative. So thank you for doing that.
Thank you, Ainsley.
You're welcome. Protests erupting over President Trump's ban on transgender people serving in the military. Up next, retired U.S. Marine Corps Johnny Joey Jones, who lost both of his legs in Afghanistan, is going to give his thoughts on this. Plus, his country recently gave $8 million to a terrorist. Now, Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau gracing the cover of Rolling Stone with the question, can he be our president? But first, happy birthday to actress Maya Rudolph. She is 45 years old today.